The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area. The Chicory House Bistro at the Rink offers breakfast and lunch daily. And now a new bar upstairs inside the Garden District Bookshop, 2727 Britannia Street at Washington Avenue. Learn more at therinknola.com. Steppin' Out is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
Whether it's the latest museum exhibit, the newest restaurant, or the current hot play,
we appreciate the weekly updates on the arts, music, and entertainment.
let's step out.
I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin' Out, Olay, with updates from the local restaurant and arts and entertainment scenes. Joining me, Poppy Tooker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Hey, Miss Poppy.
Hey,
hello. And you look great. I know you just had quite a week, too.
Well, I can see clearly now.
Very good, very good. And making his Steppin' Out debut, Diogo De Lima, the new artistic director for the Marigny Opera Ballet. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me,
Good
Peggy.
to see you.
Good
Hello.
to see you, too.
Alan Smason, editor of the Crescent City Jewish News and Theater Criticism.com. And I'm sorry, you had a little mouth issue, but you're on the mend.
They thought they could get me down, but I'm back talking again.
Okay, whoa, good. And it's been a while. Author and comedian Chris Champagne with a new guidebook called Secret Louisiana. Welcome back. Hello.
Thank you.
Poppy, holiday happenings.
Holiday happenings. Well, gingerbread house workshops have been going on for many years down at the Redfish Grill, but it was kind of like if you didn't get the notice in September, October, and quick get the reservations, there wasn't a prayer that you can get in. But now, for the first time, Ralph Brennan is expanding the workshop to Cafe Noma at the New Orleans Museum of Art.
Yes.
What a perfect place to do it. And it's going to happen on Thursday, December the 19th at 5:30. Reservations are a must. And I just have to say, by the way, next Tuesday on December 10th, Ralph and his whole Redfish Grill team are bringing that gingerbread house workshop to Children's Hospital, which is, of course, his favorite charity. So bravo, Ralph. And speaking of holiday fun, the Four Seasons has lots of holiday fun planned for both children and grown-ups. Now, downstairs at Miss River, which of course is Elan Shaya's restaurant there, they're hosting beignets with Santa. Now, you know, beignets are perfect for Hanukkah or for Christmas, you know, the festival of the lights that Hanukkah is, and they're doing this every Saturday and Sunday through Christmas. And it's a 2-course brunch, including a beignet bar that's going to have chocolate sauce, sprinkles, and candy where the kids can just go wild. And of course, old Santa himself will be there. And for grown-ups, downstairs at the Four Seasons Chandelier Bar, there's a spirited tea now. I love this idea. Fridays and Saturdays at 2 p.m., sweet and savory bites that include mini crab rolls, baba au rum. Oh, there's gougere with raclette fondue, spiced tuna puri, potato pave with beef tartare. But what I really love is that this isn't just a pot of tea sort of tea. These are tea-infused cocktails. And a cocktail comes with every tea service. And there's chai that has cognac and is kind of like a Manhattan-style cocktail. There's lapsang, that's a whiskey cocktail with black tea. Chamomile is a twist on the French 75, and hibiscus is citrus with just a hint of heat. So there's a whole new twist on tea time in the afternoon. Let's just make cocktails with our tea. And the food happenings going on Sunday are so diverse and so unusual. The New Orleans Opera is helping the Southern Food and Beverage Museum celebrate 20 years with The Cook-Off. The Cook-Off is a comedic opera that's all about the creation of macaroni and cheese. So it's a play on food competitions, and it's called America Loves Food, is this faux competition with 3 competitors singing, cooking. They're doing 2 back-to-back performances. 11:30 includes brunch, and 2 p.m. is the second performance. And I can tell you I was there during rehearsal yesterday, and the cooking and the singing were just off the hook. And last of all, also on Sunday, Holding Back the Tide, Reconsider the Oyster. This is a full-length featured documentary film. It's going to take place at the Broadside. It starts at 4:30 Sunday with an oyster happy hour, and the film is an impressionistic city symphony that traces an oyster's life cycles in New York City. And all I can tell you is that the New York Times praised it and said it makes the static life of oysters into a wondrous tale. And Emily Packer, the director, will be on hand for a talk back after the screening.
Right.
Oyster lovers, opera lovers, this is your big weekend.
At the Broadside, yes. Okay, thank you so much. And Diogo, congratulations with your new appointment to the Marigny Opera Ballet.
Thank you so much.
Another brand new, original, of course, production. And actually, set it up for us, and then we'll go to a brief clip.
Yes, so this is my first season with the Marigny Opera Ballet as the artistic director. And the season just wanted to focus, in dance itself, the joy of dance. I think we're in need of uplifting themes, and just movement. And the program one, which premieres tomorrow, is entitled Here. And we are focusing on the now and echoes from our past that forms who we are today.
Well, before we go much further, here is an exclusive excerpt from the brand new Marigny Opera House Ballet production. And here is an excerpt, Echoes, choreographed by Christian Denise. Wow. And of course, this will be 2 weekends with 6 performances total.
Correct,
huh?
yes. 6, 7, 8, and then 13, 14, 15.
If someone
December.
has not yet been to the Marigny Opera House, we should point out that this was originally Holy Trinity Catholic Church.
That's correct.
And thankfully, and thanks to Dave Hurlburt, who has lovingly restored it, and and with his other folks, it is so appropriate to, in terms of the space that you use.
It is, yes. He wanted to create a space for the community, a space for the artist to showcase work, and to bring communities together to share moments of joy. So it's an incredible space, and all the shows are with live music. Ted Joyner from the Generationals composed the music, and it's a mix of classical music and electronics. We have the Della Chaz Ensemble, Jeff Pagano doing electronics, and Brian Danas. And Vivi is on the pianos, and Ted Joyner itself singing throughout the show. It's incredible. It's something really unique, and incredible music.
Well, congratulations. And Marigny House, as we said, MarignyOperaHouse.org for tickets and further information. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yes. And now for something completely different, Mr. Champagne. Wonderful, because I think a lot of us think of Chris as a comedian, and he is, okay. But we are addressing him today and listening what he has to say, because he's an author also.
Author.
Yes.
First of all, Secret New Orleans. Okay, we should point that out, which I've very much enjoyed.
Thank you.
And it's part of a series, isn't it?
Yes, it's a Jean Les Editions. It's a French publishing house, and they do a lot of Secret Paris, Secret Rome, Secret Rio de Janeiro, Secret Tokyo. I was lucky enough to get the Secret New Orleans gig, and I talked Mr. Jean Les on his first trip to New Orleans to do a state for the first time. He'd never done a state before, just city. So he said, "Did I want to do it?" So I said yes, and it ended up being Secret Louisiana. So it's the first state. Since it's a French publishing house, when I was running around the state, I thought it was a good choice because there's so much French history here, and I went all over the place. I traveled 14,000 miles on my old jalopy.
Did you? Wow,
Yeah,
really?
I had to constantly go back and get more pictures, because one of the things about the book is that are the photos, one of the features
Lots
of
of
the
photos,
book.
but also
So-
your information about it. And we are going to kind of quickly go around Louisiana tonight with some lesser known items. And the first one, I was really surprised, the first USO
Yes.
in DeRitter?
The first
Tell us about
USO
that.
was in DeRitter, and it's still there. Actually, it's not a USO anymore, but it's a community center. And if you walk in, you can see it looks just like it was in those days, with the furniture and all the fixtures. And they have dancers. They have the big dance room, which is, of course, important in a USO.
Of course.
And they have a lot of World War II artifacts as well.
I love that. And then moving on to American Fencing Museum in Shreveport.
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting find. I ran across it right away, but then I couldn't find anything about it. So I thought maybe it wasn't in business anymore. And I called the number, and the gentleman answered. And he's from New York City. He was in L.A. teaching actors how to fence. And I asked him how he got to Shreveport. And he said, "Well, my girlfriend's from Shreveport." And,
That's a good enough reason.
his name is Andy Shaw. He's really great. And he's a fencing instructor. And in his studio, he has all this great memorabilia from the history of fencing in America. And he's really nice. If you go there early in the afternoon before he starts teaching, he'll be glad to talk with you.
I love that. And then on to Point Pleasant in Iberville Parish, the smallest church in the world.
Yeah, the smallest church in the world. It's right on the river, and it's really interesting because it's locked, but it's a harbinger of how America used to be. The key is outside, and anybody can show up and go in
Madonna.
and go in and look around and pray or whatever. A gentleman, he did it because his son was going to die, and it was a miracle. He said that his son survived, and he built the chapel.
So a promise was
About
made.
100 years ago, yeah.
Oh, lovely. And speaking of matters religious, the Tree of Souls.
The Tree of Souls.
S-O-L-E.
Right, S-O-L-E-S. This is in Scott, Louisiana. Well, it's actually not in Scott, Louisiana. It's just north of Scott.
Osen.
And there are 3 trees that this lady put up, and there's a sign, and it tells you to unburden yourself. And what you do is you throw your shoes up on the tree, or you nail your shoes. So there's like hundreds of shoes. It's really an interesting little out of the way. It's really out in the country, but it's not too far off the interstate, though, so it's easy to go see it and get back on the interstate. So it's really kind of a cool spot.
And you've got 2 book signings coming up. Tuesday.
Tuesday at Shop Yard at 8 o'clock on 405 3rd in Chapatoulas. And it's my birthday also, so it's a
Happy
birthday
birthday.
thing.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And December 12th, which is a Thursday, which will be at Octavia at 6.
Are you working on any new stand-up shows? Or?
Well, I'm going to be opening for Philip Melançon's Christmas show.
Oh, right. We're going to
Sunday
talk about,
on the
yes.
8th. And I have a show called Wait, Don't Shoot Me. It's about New Orleans and Louisiana politics, and I cover Mr. Landry and Miss Cantrell and others. And that'll be in January sometime at the end, but I'm not quite sure where I'm going to do it yet.
All right. Oh, well, thank you so much. Glad
Thank
you're
you.
here.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Happy birthday. Have some champagne.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Alan.
So of all the holiday-themed shows that make their way on the stages at this time of year, Elf, the Broadway musical, may be the one that's the most resistant to the Grinch to Scrooge and other humbugs. It's a story, of course, of a baby who stows away in Santa's sleigh and unknowingly is transported to the North Pole. And, of course, it does create a lot of questions. It's not important this season necessarily to be entirely credible. It's important to tell the story for the enjoyment of those who do believe, and maybe even more importantly, for those that forgot why that's important. The linchpin for the musical right there is Buddy the Elf. The jolly old elf is far and away the most exuberant figure on the stage. Jackson Regan sells the role throughout his sheer will, and he takes that non-equity show and ratchets it up to the rarefied air of where we expect a good touring production to be. He's supported by Santa, very funny Mark Fishback, who also breaks the fourth wall at the very beginning. Their relationship's very important in establishing that Buddy is a veritable duck out of water, perhaps a moose out of snow. Tara Nicola Vincent takes a while to sort of break into her self-imposed hiatus. There she is, after having made several bad choices. When Buddy arrives on the scene, she has a big number of Never Fall in Love with an Elf, which uniquely quotes its own title in the lyrics. It's a highlight of that second act. Matthew Sklar's music, Chad Begelin's lyrics, they sparkle throughout the first act, and some standout numbers include Happy All the Time, Sparkle, Jolly, Twinkle, Jingly, and a Christmas song. Act 2 starts off with a great number, Nobody Cares About Santa. It features a memorable dancing line of out-of-work Santas with Buddy at his lowest ebb. Sam Scalamoni served as the director of Elf since its very first tour in 2012, continues now to work on that material with exceptional talent who have yet to prove themselves, but they're on a national tour now. And while this is a frothy holiday material, I would really recommend it. It's well done, and at times like these, during this particular season, it is a welcome diversion. Welcome Elf to the Sanger Theater now through Sunday, December the 8th. Now, over at the new Marigny Theater, Fat Squirrel Productions is running that hit from yesteryear. And when I say yesteryear, I mean ancient Greece. It's their production of The Trojan Women. Directed by Andrea Watson, Euripides' Tragedy is presented by a mostly female cast. Mallory O'Sigian Favalora stars as Hecuba, the widow of King Priam, along with her daughter Cassandra, played by Kaylin Willoughby, and her widowed daughter-in-law, I should say, Andromache, is played by Lizzie Bruce. Also, witnesses are a Greek chorus there. They comment in unison on their fates. Elizabeth McCoy makes a noted appearance as Helen of Sparta. The Trojan Women also has several male Greek soldiers attired in modern police uniforms. They're led by James Wright there. The show runs about 90 minutes with no intermission. To get tickets, go to the Fat Squirrel NOLA site on Square. And again, it's the new Marigny Theater in the Marigny. Opening night for A Christmas Carol will involve a repeat show put on by the Crescent City Stage Company that starts tonight. It continues through next weekend at Loyola University's Marquette Theater. I want to let everybody know about that. It's a great show there. And again, here's a preview show of the piece that's being done over at Rivertown this weekend. It's A Wonderful Life, y'all. Ricky Graham's newest show. There is Vatican Loki in the center as Mr. Potter, and Ryan Ocedo as Robichaux on the left, and Christina Cross as Audrey. Again, this particular show had sold out. They added a new show on Sunday, December the 22nd at 2 p.m. So a new show. They're not completely sold out, almost were, but check that out now. If you want to go see it, you will have an opportunity to see it. And a new holiday tradition continues with Vatican as he and his partner Edward Cox stars Sprinkles and Tinsel in their 5th annual Holiday special. That begins airing next Sunday on their YouTube channel for NOLA Voice Theater. Meanwhile, as Poppy mentioned, a new opera is bowing at SoFab this week. And again, they're going to have those 3 contestants vying for top honors on this game show, which she mentioned earlier. Here's a shot of the conversation I held on Monday with the composer Sean O'Pebolo and lyricist Mark Campbell. If you want to see that, you can follow it on the NOLA Theater Talk Show on NOLA Theater Folk Facebook group, the theatercriticism.com Facebook page, and my own YouTube channel. And again, I want to have a little bit of a taste, if you will, Poppy, of this opera. So I'd like to give, this is direct for the world premiere in Nashville from last week, a little taste of the cook-off.
Okay, contestants, you know what to say. Let's get going.
You want to hear more, you're going to have to go to the opera. And by the way, the other tickets for a 2 o'clock performance, which you didn't get a chance to mention, are being sold directly through the SoFab site. We, again, Opera Association selling the 11:30 to 12 noon, and then SoFab has the 1 to 2.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. And the New Orleans Jazz Museum's Improv Gala is this Saturday evening, featuring performances by many local musicians. Earlier today, we had a visit from museum head Greg Lambousy and a featured gala performer, Britney Chauntae. Well, my goodness, Saturday night at the New Orleans Jazz Museum, also known as the old U.S. Mint, will be jumping. And Greg Lambousy, who happens to head the Jazz Museum, will tell us about a very special fundraiser.
Yes, thank you. So our Improvisations Gala, presented by the Herb Alpert Foundation, will take place Saturday. We're excited. Have some great musicians, about 15 bands.
15 bands? And now that money goes to a specific purpose.
It does. It helps us with our educational programs, with exhibits. You know, of course, we do a lot of performance and helps with that throughout the year.
Mm-hmm. And Britney Chauntae, oh my goodness, she's one of our featured performers on Saturday as well. Wow. Britney, you have some public TV almost experience, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Share that story.
Well, I was saying this is my second time in a PBS studio. Last time I was here, I was auditioning for Barney back in Dallas. So it's really, really nice to be here.
But these days, you've got the drive-by karaoke. You're a contestant.
Yes, I do.
My goodness, and you were on American Idol?
Yes, I was in 2014.
That's what else do you have coming up soon?
So Drive By Karaoke, they're going to be premiering their first season, the first episode, December 16th, a chance for 5 singers and 5 dancers to win $10,000, and I am a contestant. So you can follow that on all social media. And then we have the gala coming up on Saturday, and the official New Orleans Super Bowl tailgate on February 9th.
So well,
I'm
great.
so excited.
Well, we have to realize that we wouldn't be talking about any of this without an incredible, famous benefactor.
Yes. So Herb Alpert, you know, I think this is the 3rd year in a row he's been our presenting sponsor. And fortunately, Herb's going to be here in town on the 14th at the
I have my tickets.
Yes, Jefferson Performing
Herb
Arts Center.
Albert
Yes.
And his wife, who is a singer.
Lonnie. Yes.
I mean, how exciting is that?
We're excited. Yes, very excited.
Wow. Well, Greg, once again, I mean, Saturday night, I'm sure there's food. Nobody will be thirsty
No,
or
we're going to
hungry,
have tons of food and great food. Messina's is doing the food for us. A number of stocked bars, well stocked.
well stocked.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention, you know, we'll have Funk, really wonderful band, along with Newbury, both Grammy nominated, and Wanda Ruzan, Little Freddie King, the list goes on.
Lots of dancing.
How great is that? Well, good. And congratulations for all the work that you do. Now, you also have some exhibits that are, if you can't make Saturday, that you can go and see at the Jazz Museum.
We do. We recently opened Congo Square to the World, basically an early history of New Orleans jazz. And we just also recently opened a new exhibit on Louis Armstrong.
All right, very good. Brittany, would you please introduce your pianist?
Of course. I have today accompanying me the lovely Miss Keiko Komaki.
Hello, Keiko. And you're going to play, sing Christmas song for us.
It is time.
As
the great Mariah Carey say, it's time. So what better way to start it off?
It's great to have you all with us. Greg, you and I need to get out of the way.
Let's get out of the way.
Stay, why not? Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe will help to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh, and every mother's child is gonna sigh to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Though it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas.
The Improv Gala will take place this Saturday at the Jazz Museum within the old U.S. Mint. That's on Esplanade. For tickets, go to New Orleans Jazz Museum/Gala. So jazzmuseum.org/gala. So time for picks. Poppy.
If you love those biscuits at GW Fins like I do, or someone you love loves them, it's the perfect stocking stuffer, available daily right now from 5 p.m. on, just $10. Great stocking stuffer.
All right, thank you, Alan.
There's 2 chances to see the Nutcracker on the same days, December 21st and 22nd, at 2 different venues with 2 different orchestras. First, the Delta Festival Ballet presents Tchaikovsky's classic ballet with members of the LPO at the Mahalia Jackson Theater for Performing Arts. That's an evening performance on Saturday, followed by a Sunday matinee. And then Kenneth Beck and his wife Kimberly are presenting their version of the Nutcracker, featuring a book by Thomas Meehan and Bob Martin. Those are the guys that wrote the book for Elf I mentioned earlier. That's going to be at JPAC on Airline Drive. And after the JPA Symphony Orchestra finishes its score under the direction of Maestro Dennis Asaf, they invite ticket holders to the Nutcracker Suite Party for all the kids and cast members to meet there with the ticket holders. I'll see you at the theater.
Okay, thank you. My picks. Deutsches Haus is having their Christmas market this Friday through Sunday. I've gotten a lot of shopping done there in the past. Jewelry artist Patrice McMurray is having her annual show. I'm wearing one of her works. I love Patrice. It's this Saturday and next at 949 Harding Drive from 11 to 5. You can also contact her after Saturday for a personal appointment too. 319-3227. Mid-City Art Studios at Toulouse and North Murat open on Saturday. Allison Stewart among the many fine artists featured. Broadside's holding a Bluegrass Fest this Saturday starting at 3 o'clock. Hazel and the Delta Ramblers will kick it off at 3 o'clock. And Film Lawsaw and Pals, including Alfred Richard, will kick off the Holiday Cabaret. And that's on Sunday at 7 p.m. at Monkey Hill for the next few weeks. You can call 202-0906 for reservations. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Programming on WYES is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
From Masterpiece to Nova, Antiques Roadshow to Agatha Christie.
And of course, Steppin Out and Informed Sources.
We are pleased to support public television.
It's been our passion.
For a lifetime.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area. The Chicory House Bistro at the Rink offers breakfast and lunch daily. And now a new bar upstairs inside the Garden District Bookshop, 2727 Britannia Street at Washington Avenue. Learn more at therinknola.com.